Hi, in this tutorial, I'll talk about some basics of Git. So I will discuss about what is Git and how Git works at a high level and some differences about Git and GitHub. Sometimes people confuse with the Git and GitHub and Git and GitLab. So we'll talk about that as well. Basically, Git is a application which used for version control system, and you can install it at your local machine. So once you install your local machine, it create a workspace, or sometimes we used to call it database, at your local machine, and you don't need further to working with the Git. That is enough. So once you have installed Git, now to working with a Git, you must have Git repository. Okay, you can have code, but you must have repository. So there are two ways. Either you can clone a repository, means repository is somewhere and you can clone it, or you can create repository using git init command. Okay, let's say you have some code base and you can initialize that code base as a repository, okay, using git commands. Once you have Git repository, then you can perform the other operations like git add, git commit. There are a lot of operations. We'll talk those operations in detail with example. Okay, so on local, you are able to create a repository. Now you are doing your commits, you are creating versions, but that is happening at your local machine. Everything is happening at your local machine. You are able to create snapshot versions, everything. But how you will be sharing that with anyone else, or how that code will be shared with one? So the thing is, you can perform all your operations, Git related operations, on your local machine without even the internet connection. Okay, but you must need somewhere at a remote or cloud or somewhere central place where you can store your code, or where you can store your repositories. So for that we use GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. These are the third-party applications or the third-party services which implement Git and provide you these services to store your repositories or code at a remote place, centralized place, so that everyone else can make their changes, pull their changes. So let's say you are done. Okay, you are done with your operations, you have created repository, you have made your changes. Now you will be pushing and pulling your code to your remote repository. That remote repository or the remote application can be GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. So in this series, the first phase of this series, we'll talk about the GitHub, then we'll see the GitLab and Bitbucket as well. So you will be pushing and pulling. Let's say you made some changes. First time you will push your whole repository, okay, and later on you keep pushing your changes. And if someone else has made some changes, let's say there is one more machine or one more developer who is making the changes in the same repository, so then you will be pulling those changes. So that how it works. Now you must understand Git and GitHub. GitHub is a third-party services or third-party applications which actually provide you services to maintain your code. Okay, those are also based on Git. Now you must understand three stages of Git. Those are very important: modified, stage, and committed. Let's say you have a repository and you check out that repository. Don't worry about these words for now. Okay, we'll see the demo of everything, okay, in coming tutorials. So modified means the file you have been modified or file you have been updated, okay, but you still did not mark that file modified so that that can be committed to your repository or your database. Okay, so the stage area is the area, we'll see the graphical representation as well, where your means you will saying, okay, I have modified my file and now it is ready to be, you can commit in the current, this current version. Okay, that means the whole thing is, in nutshell, you can understand, you are saying, okay, I'm done with the modification with this file and you can commit now. Committed is stage where all the files, all the changes have been committed to your local database, means your repository. Now they are ready, now they're completely ready, and you can push those changes to a remote repository. So these three stages you must understand. You will, for now, I know that might be confusing, but when we'll see the practical example demos, you will understand these. I'll show you properly about these three stages. Now let's say the graphical representation. You have working directory, staging area, and repository. So working directory, what I said, is modified, right? As I said, let's say you clone repository, you have some remote machine and you clone repository. Okay, so you have this repository and you checked out repository, means you can have multiple branches. We'll see the branch, what is that branch and all. Don't worry about it for now. For now, you must understand working directory has modified files. Okay, one, there's a file you modified, and that modified file will be staying, means you have all the files, all the repository, but your modified file will be staying here elsewhere, modified and unmodified both. Once you say, okay, I'm done with the modified, and you will move those files to staging area by using command like git add or something. Right now you are saying, okay, I'm done with my modifications and these files can be committed to repository. Next time from the staging area, you will commit those files using git commit command. Now these files are ready and you are done with the changes. Now you can push to a remote repository. Okay, and from there other people can get it. That's how it works. We'll see the practical example of these two, all these three, phases. Don't worry about it. Now let's understand how Git is different from others. So let's say you have a repository and you created a version, means as soon as you commit, you will have one version. Okay, you have 3 files. In next version, let's say you modified file 1 and file 3. Okay, so your next version, means version 2, will be having file 1 and file 3, and the file 2 which is not modified, right, which has the same as the previous version. So it will have version 2 will have a reference to file 2 in the previous version. Okay, it will not store this file completely. Okay, it will have a version, so it will take the snapshot, it will take the changes, and for unchanged file it will just have a reference. The same way, let's say in version 3, if it modified files, so let's say it modified only file 3, so you will have file 3 and file 2, it will have reference, and here file 1 it will have a reference of file of version 2, because version 2, this version 2 is the last one. Okay, that way, the same way it will work again and again. So important thing is, it will have the snapshots, and the versions will have the files which actually modified, and unmodified files, they have a reference to the previous versions wherever the stable version is, means wherever it modified. Few things you must understand which I did not wrote here. Git generate a hash code. That means every commit you make generate a hash code, okay, with SHA algorithm. So you cannot perform any operation without knowing Git. So whatever you are doing, Git will track that with a hash code, and you will see, I'll show you that hash code, the commit code or something, okay, in practical demo. I hope you understood the basic understanding of Git at high level. Obviously, I did not show you any practical, any demo. We'll see a lot of demo in coming tutorials. We'll see each and every command. I'll show you practical example. Okay, this was the high level for your understanding. If you have any question, please do comment. Thank you.